Here is a fabulous way, and I really mean fabulous, to help me and you to be more successful more easily, more often than ever before. That's a big, bold claim, but trust me, it really works that way. Years ago, I used to play golf. I don't play golf anymore, but I used to play golf. I was really keen, and I had a guy that used to help me, a pro that I used to go to. And not only was he a professional golfer, he was a good golfer, but he was a great teacher as well. I thought he was a really good guy. And he came up with some lovely ideas that really helped me in my game. And one of his ideas was this, and he said, I've got to understand the difference between effortless power and powerless effort. Powerless effort was not what we were trying to do, because it meant I was trying too hard, but I was powerless because of it. I was getting in my own way. You may have heard of a famous book from before, The Inner Game of Golf, The Inner Game of Tennis, where the author, Timothy Gallwey, always talks about getting out of your own way. But anyway, so the difference between powerless effort and effortless power. And this also refers to business and life in general. About 30 odd years ago, I was given a little one cassette tape, and on it was Deepak Chopra, the famous Deepak Chopra. I love his content. I've listened to a load of his material. I love it to bits. And what a wonderful voice he has. What's described as a mellifluous voice, honey-laden, wonderful to listen to, and great ideas. And on this little cassette, he went through a number of ideas using the letters of the alphabet. But the one that stuck with me solidly, and in fact I use all those letters, when I do my meditation, I use that to sort of come back to reality, if you like, or back to consciousness as I come out of my meditation. And he talked a lot about transcendental meditation. And he came up with this idea, and it just links so beautifully to the idea of effortless power. And he said this: slip into the gap. That means the gap between your thoughts, which is where we go with meditation, isn't it? The gap between our thoughts, in that silence. Slip into the gap with firm intent. So in other words, we set for ourselves an intention, a firm intention. And for me, there's a big deal of difference between an intention and goal setting. An intention is when we are saying, this is what I want, I need, this is my intention. And for me, that then becomes part of who I am. In other words, it's at the identity level, not at the activity level. The identity level. You'll have heard me say before, people will never consistently do who they aren't. Why? It's not in alignment with their identity. So when we set this intention, we're saying, this is who I am. Not this is what I'll do. This is who I am. This is what I'll do, and all that bit is goal setting. So that's the difference. So slip into the gap between our thoughts with firm intent. Relinquish your attachment to the outcome. Wonderful. Relinquish your attachment to the outcome. Again, you've probably heard me say before, one of the skills in business is to learn how to sell and stop selling and allow people to buy. We care if we make the sale, but we don't mind if we don't. That's relinquishing our attachment to the outcome, and that shines out of us in every word we say, in the language, the body language, the physical language that we use with people, the way we communicate, the way we are. As Earl Nightingale said on Lead the Field, who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying. Isn't that just wonderful? Back to Deepak. Slip into the gap with firm intent. That's who we are. Relinquish your attachment to the outcome. Let the universe handle the detail. Now, we have to give the universe a hand on this, so talk about that in a moment. So here's the whole expression. Slip into the gap with firm intent. Relinquish your attachment to the outcome. Let the universe handle the detail. Now, what does that last bit mean? Let the universe handle the detail. This is my take on it. I think we can't just sit there and go, can we? We've got to do something. But what do? Well, we listen. We listen and we watch, because I've found in life that, call it what you will, the universe will tell you what to do as long as you listen. You might hear a snippet in a conversation. You go, that's the bit I needed. You might be reading a book. You might be watching a TV program or a film, and you go, oh, that's what it is. And the reason that we spot that, and it's back in, you know as well as I do about the reticular activating system, is because we've set the intention. Because we've set the intention, the world then tells you things it was telling us anyway, but suddenly we spot it because now we know the relevance of it because we've got the intention. See how all of this comes together? It's wonderful. It's how I live my life. It just works for me. Slip into the gap with firm intent. Relinquish your attachment to the outcome. Let the universe handle the detail. This is how we use effortless power. I'm sure you can take this away and use it. And if you've enjoyed this, there's lots more videos about, so I can always help you with those. So in the meantime, I wish you every success in all your adventures in life. From me, Peter Thomson, I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye for now.